Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to interview Linda and Claire. And what we're going to talk about today is how different they are, as well as how similar they are as ISFJ and ISFJ jumpers. So I'll get them to introduce themselves, and we'll start with Claire first. So Claire, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Claire. My type is double feminine, SIFE, blast, sleep, consume, play. And I've been in the class like about 3 years, right, Kendrick?
Yeah, you've been you were the original ISFJ. You were the first one.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about that later because anyways, yeah, let's go to Linda first.
And I'm Linda, and I am FMSITI, sleep, consume, play, blast.
All right. So Linda, you're also an unusual ISFJ because you're like the jumper. So
so they say.
Yeah, or so they say. That's right. So that's the first thing I want to cover about you guys is how you are different as a standard and jumper. And the biggest difference is Linda, you are self above tribe, and Claire is tribe above self. And I want to direct this question first to Claire. And what do you think is the pros and cons of being tribe above self? Because when I mentioned that you were the original ISFJ, there was like a part of you that wanted to deflect it already. Like,
yeah,
anything that's like positive or like a compliment, you're like, no,
yeah, like I definitely don't want to stand out. So on the benefits, I mean, I guess it draws me to people. I'm play last, so being tribe above self is helpful there. Like that's the only part that draws me to people, I would assume. I don't know. But yeah, and in our family it helps, I think. My husband is self above tribe, he's TI. So I think it helps there some, but I'm not like extremely tribe above self. So like it's a savior function, but play last makes that, I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic there.
Yeah, you're still like, I think you're like almost at the border, like 49, 51% or something.
Yeah, it feels like that.
Yeah, but it's still obvious the tribe of self, like, oh, compliment, deflect, it's like,
yeah, it's like it is an obligation. It does feel like that.
What about you, Linda? You are self above tribe. What are your pros and cons for that?
Well, I do say I kind of had a hard time seeing that initially, because that FE is so masculine and it's the bane of my existence. But I do see where when push comes to shove, I just do what I need to do. And I guess that's the advantage of it. I do feel that pull of the people, like, I mean, no, and this is going to be terrible to say, but I felt like I really needed to do this interview because Kendrick asked me, so how could you say no? I got to do this. But anyway, it's just weird because it's kind of out of the normal thing, but I really like Kendrick and I wanted to help him. So,
thank you so much.
So I just kind of, until it gets full, when it gets full, I got to go for a little bit. I'm kind of done for a while. I have to kind of pull off and put myself back together and that kind of thing. So the advantage is, I guess, that I can do that I can come through for myself sometimes, a lot of times, whenever, yeah. But then the disadvantage, I think you were asking about also. Well, I don't know if it's really a disadvantage since I can double decide with it, but I guess maybe from someone else's point of view, the disadvantage might be that there are times whenever I tend to be a little bit more blunt than people are comfortable with. But if it's come to that, then you probably deserved it. Or that's just me trying to call the elephant in the room, and then just let's clear the air and then we're done.
So. I think that is important though. Sometimes you do need to clear the air, because like, if you bottle it up so much, then all this negative emotion.
And there does come a time whenever everybody needs that somebody to do that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's true. That's very true. Yeah. I think those people are called Buckleys, you know, like, you know, it, like it doesn't taste good, but it works, you know, like, uh,
Yep.
yeah.
Chickens or feathers. Chickens or feathers. You gotta get one or the other.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about the similarities then, since we just talked about the differences, and the similarities is you're both IJs. So control is gonna be like the big thing here. Can you guys talk about what you're trying to control things? Like what is like the what is your why are you doing it? You know, like what are you trying to prevent from happening? You know?
Chaos.
Yeah, but what specific chaos are you trying to prevent? Like from you guys personal life, essentially?
Like all kinds. There's so much of it with demon energy. It just feels like it's everywhere.
And for me, this is interesting because I think Benjamin is the one that said that I am the most chaotic IJ that he's ever met. And part of that is because I was a lot worse when I was younger, trying to control the chaos. And like even one time whenever I was learning how to drive, there was French fries. Okay, I'm driving this big B-52 van because I don't have my own car. And there was like fries for McDonald's on the little doghouse thing. You know, this is like 80s. Okay, I'm old. And I'm like getting so upset that these fries are sitting there on the doghouse. Nothing is happening to them, but I can just see them going all over the car if I have to stop or if I have to be, you know, something happens, maybe someone else is doing something I can't control, and then I've got to pick, you know. Anyway, I just was really upset about this, and I was like, get these fries off of here. And I remember when my dad, who is, I do believe, also ISTI, which is an interesting dynamic there, he just looked at me, he put those fries back there, and he said, learn to live with it. And so that whole story, yeah, there's a lot of my life was like that. They spent a lot of time like, it's gonna happen, you're gonna just have to deal with what happens. But it's like the watermelon story. It's my favorite story that Claire ever told, and that's whenever I connected with her in her first interview. You're in the kitchen with your kids, you see the watermelon, the watermelon's getting cut, everything's okay right now, but you can see all the possibilities of what's going to happen. All of a sudden the juice is all over the floor, the kids are tracking it through the house, now you need new carpet, you have to buy a new house, it's terrible.
That's a lot of chaos. Yeah, we should prevent that.
So like you just have to you want to control the cutting of the watermelon because bad things can happen.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to be able to see all of that and then figure out how you're going to deal with it, because other people just look at you like, what are you, crazy? That just live a little.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see. And sometimes chaos really does happen, and someone is laughing at me, and then you're like, I told you so. Aren't you glad that my other self was prepared for what's happening right now?
Is that what you're doing then, Lynda? You're like trying to get it prepared so that when it does happen, you're like,
you're ready.
You can peacock. You were like, I'm cool. I got that ENTP in me. I'm cool. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before this interview, I was talking to Lynda a while back, and I was saying to Lynda, like, she has like an EP in her, like and she's quite chaotic, and she's like, yeah, I can't hide that. And even you, Claire, you have consumed third, so it's not like it's fourth. So
yeah,
you have it. It's like activated. Can you guys talk about when you swing from IJ to EP? Because from the classes now, Dave and Shan are saying EPs and IJs were the same people. Just depends where we are on that swing, right? So can you guys just share a story when you suddenly swang from like controlling IJ to like free EP, like just like do whatever you want, perhaps on a vacation or something, whatever you guys have experienced. Maybe we can go to Lynda.
I can't think of an exact story. It does happen though.
My kids are always surprised and happy. That's how I know it happens. Whenever my kids' eyes light up and they're like, ooh, vacation mom's here.
Yeah. Mine may be more of a swing, Linda. Like I don't know if I'm so much fun or if I'm just like, okay, I'm free. I'm like absolved of all responsibility. I'm not taking, like I'm not the responsible party anymore. Yeah. So anyway, it's not necessarily fun, but it's just like I'm free.
You can take some notes from Lynda. Like
Yeah.
vacation mom Lynda.
That sounds more fun.
Yeah. What happens when you become vacation mom? How are you different?
I just don't worry about what's going to happen or what other people are doing. I just try. I mean, I've really worked really hard on trying to just enjoy the moment. But sometimes whenever it gets too stressful, even at home and I'm not on vacation, then if I sit down on the couch with a glass of wine, they're like, oh boy. Because I guess that's the sign there. Like I just have my glass of wine and I relax and I really don't care what you do or what I say. So I'm a little bit less I'm probably more blasty in that moment because there's a lot of things that I think and don't say, a whole world in there. And so whenever I do share it with people, they feel very happy about that. But yeah, I think Claire's, I definitely agree with that, with what you're saying there. With it's kind of like you just absolve yourself of any responsibility,
like any at all. That's why
yeah.
Intense. It's like I've done all these things. Look at this pile that I've already done. So now I'm doing nothing. It is very intense. And I like a glass of wine too. That's supposed to be an SI thing, right?
Is it? Is that really a thing? Like an SI thing? Like wine?
You said that. Yeah. Well, yeah, like alcohol because it can help calm. I just feel keyed up a lot.
I had a friend in college. I think she was an ISTJ, play last, and she's super responsible for everything. So she's always like very tense and stiff. But the moment she drinks, oh my God, she gets so hyper. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know this other side existed, and
I will only do that if you're like my kids or somebody very close to me. I will not be altering my brain chemistry otherwise. I gotta be with it and sharp and know what we're talking about.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I did that a lot in college. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it? Like, did you feel like, oh, finally,
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I did not do a lot of that in college. I just knew what I wanted, went straight for it, and I didn't have time for that. I was busy and I graduated with my degree, but by the time I was like 19 when I graduated.
Oh, wow. Oh
I went to high school and college at the same time, just got after it. And they're like, what about summer? I'm like, what about it? It's summer. Time to get to the grindstone. Let's do it. I know what I'm doing. I was weird.
Do you feel like you missed out on like that scene? Since you rushed it so fast?
Not really. I just knew what I wanted to do, so I just needed to get it done. And then like now I'm in a different season in my life and I have a lot of my goals met and my kids are all old now. The last one just graduated. So now I'm like going on cruises and traveling and well, y'all are on your own. Dishes better be done by the time I get home. See you next week. Like, it's weird.
Oh, wow. You went like full swing. Like,
so I did it backwards, right? I got my business taken care of and now I'm like, okay, I'm good. So I know that's not how a normal person does things. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit opposite. But you know, like they do say that for IJs, right? They wait till like they're retired before they can have fun. You know? So it could be like good and bad, because it's good because you got ahead faster in life, but it's bad because like you missed out on some things that you can only do when you're young. So,
Right, right.
so yeah. So
But well, I mean, my little EP, well, not so little because he's old now, but my little EP son he's the same way. He was kind of like, he didn't want to color in kindergarten. So they were like, he can't pass if he refuses to color. We've taken away his recess. We don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, you're not going to get him to do what you want him to do until he wants to do it. So let me talk to him. And he's like, coloring is for children. And he's 5 back then.
God.
So I was like, okay, this is fun. So we kind of had to go through that. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal. It doesn't really matter what you like and don't like. You just need to give this teacher what you want. You're going to have a lot of years of that so that you can get through to what, like, that's how you reach your goals. You just do what people want for a while, meet their expectations and move on.
Yeah.
And that's whatever that little speech was with him, that seemed to work.
Does your son have a like FI or something? It's like, don't like this. Don't want.
Oh, no.
TI?
No. He's definitely very much like a NETI, and he's very flowy with the ideas, very flowy. Yeah.
So, okay.
But he does have that DI over DE, and so you're not going to talk him into anything unless it's his idea.
Gotcha. I guess he listens to you because he trusts you.
Well, and when he was younger, like you kind of learn really quickly. You don't say like, hey, let's wear this tomorrow, because that's not going to happen. So you give him 2 choices. Are you going to wear this or this? And then he thinks he has a choice. Well, that works.
Oh, you're clever.
You gotta.
You tricked him.
I feel like maybe that was done to me a little bit, to where at some point in my life, I think that's probably how I got raised, because I had my own ideas.
You guys you're talking about like the SF blast and stuff. Like I was reading that Jordan Peterson book, like 12 Rules for Life. And he also has like a guide there on how to parent kids. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like SIFE, but it's so clever though. Like it's almost like tricking your kids, but it does work, Yeah.
Well, I don't know how Claire feels about that, but for me, it's I treat them as individuals.
Yeah.
And ever since they were born, they're their own individual. And a lot of people just treat kids as like a subsection of themselves. And so, yes, I like to play the clarinet, but if you don't like music, then you need to do what you like to do. We need to build your strengths.
Oh, that's nice. You're very supportive then. Like just yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I feel that way too. Like I thought it was respecting their DI, but I don't know. I haven't really been able to pinpoint what that is, but I feel that way pretty strongly too. Like they need to be able to do what they want to do. It's their life. They have to live it, So
maybe it's that whole SIFE nurturing thing people like to do. Maybe that's it. I'm not sure either.
Could be double.
Shaming everyone.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we do, right?
Yeah, the FE shame. I mean, like Claire, your FE is super nice. For example, like a few days ago when you said, "Oh, if you're tired, we can reschedule."
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's so nice. You're so nice.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
She's thinking of you as a person.
Yeah, I know. It's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe that's just having higher sleep, Lynda. Like, because I don't know what it would feel like to be sleep last. I just take care of myself,
Yeah.
Like I just sleep if I need to sleep process.
Yeah, sleep last is it's a different world for sure. I think it feels good to know that I'm being productive. Like I'm getting things done and things are moving the right direction. Like there's like a good feeling behind that. But yeah, I understand that you need to rest for sure. So today was the first day I lost. I was in a good streak of 7.5 hours of sleep, but today was 6, and I was like, oh man, I lost the streak. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna catch up with some sleep tonight. Yeah. So Claire, I wanted to ask you about what you said earlier when you were younger. You said that, you know, when you drank, you like when you were in college, like then you
Mhm.
could be more like EP-ish. Do you think it's also because you are tribe above self, and like if you were sober, you would feel inclined to just do things for other people, but if you drink now, you can like, I can do what I want, you know?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like it felt like pure freedom, you know. That's
But
kind of what I'm seeking at that point. So yeah.
but now that you're no longer in that college phase of
Yeah.
like drinking and stuff, how do you see yourself still finding an outlet where you can like do some of that, where you can be like get some a
Yeah.
little bit of freedom and
It's harder now. It is harder. Um, and because I had a friend group too, you know, that did that. So it was like I could get that DE connection with them at the same time, you know. So I don't really have that. I don't know. I haven't found a friend group that close since college. But I don't know. I find ways like I don't know. I can't think of one right now. But just having more just like time by myself to kind of do whatever I want to do. Um, I don't know. There is more time alone than in college anyway. So maybe I was reacting to that, like living in a dorm, being around people all the time was a lot.
did you like that though, that lifestyle?
I did, but I like the FE gets really drained, you know, like um I can't help but notice when like people are not nice to each other or um are talking about others or something, and that'll upset me, and then I'll feel like I need to go be by myself, and that was really hard to accomplish, you know. And those girls dorms were like kind of like ripe for that kind of stuff. So it just felt like maybe that was also part of it, because I don't feel the need to do that like I used to.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I have that same thing with the FE situation. Like it's kind of a blessing and a curse, I guess, because I can I start I don't I know I don't know. It's I can feel it. It's terrible. Like stop pushing your feelings on me. I'm not responsible for that. That's just the whole like stop it. And I have to get away from it if it gets too much, if it gets too sad or too dramatic or too, and because then I just want to help, and what am I going to do? I should only be controlling myself. Like that it just gets to be, yeah, and people don't even know what they're doing. They're just throwing up out of their mouth, and you're like, that stop it. It's
You're just
enough.
themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And
Yeah,
at that
I
point,
get weird. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're
It
so
is.
DI. It's so funny. It's like, I don't
I'm
want your
telling
feelings.
you.
I don't
Yeah.
want your feelings. That's so funny.
There was someone that died, okay, and the family went to the funeral. There wasn't a whole lot of people there, oddly enough, not enough people for pallbearers for sure. Um, but I was there, and I'm the only one that cried. Not even the children cried of this person that died, and I cried, and then they were like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, it's a funeral. This was her last chance. It's over. Like I just have all the feels, and I like they were like, but she wasn't a good person, and I'm like, well, that doesn't even matter. This like her chances are over. That's what I'm upset about. Like I just wanted to throw that weird random story in there to let you know how weird the FE gets.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, yeah. What that you would cry for someone that the tribe perceive as a bad person that you should not cry for.
Yes.
Would you do the same thing, Claire, or
I
no?
don't know. I probably would play last out at that funeral.
Okay. That's good. I like that one too. Yeah. Uh, yeah, you like that one, eh, Linda? That was a good one.
Well, then also like people like to watch these videos of people hurting themselves. Okay, like they're being like the jackass stuff or whatever. They're doing something and they fall down, or they like break something, fall off a building onto a trampoline and didn't make it. Like my stomach just drops like I'm on a roller coaster. I don't know what that is, but I'm definitely not SE in the top at all, because
Yeah.
that hurts me and I like my body starts moving like it happened to me, and people just are laughing and they're like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
That's probably some demon in E, you think? Like those possibilities are coming true, you know? Like I don't like to see that those could actually happen. I don't know.
Maybe you don't want to be fed with that information, because now you'll be thinking about it. And then, obviously.
Well, FE does feed into it because it's terrible and it made you feel bad and it hurts, and are they okay? And this is all fun and games, but now they're in the ER. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably both.
Yeah, aren't you a nurse too, Lynda?
Respiratory therapist, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, the stereotype, all ISFJs are nurses, Yeah.
We kind of fit it.
Are you a nurse too, Claire? Are you a nurse?
I'm a physical therapist.
Oh, okay. So health.
Yeah, we do healthcare stuff.
Healthcare stuff, yeah. Yeah, that's funny. The stereotype is real.
Yeah, we got to take care of you because
Yeah.
you're not taking care of yourself. Obviously, we got to help you.
Yeah, especially sleep last people.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask you guys about extrovert feeling. So one of the things that there's like a correlation with extrovert feeling, I don't know if it's like just a fake stereotype or if it's real, is like gravitating towards gossip, And then Claire, what you were talking about, like living in an all girls dorm, so I can see that like being like really rampant and like just out of control. And then Lynda, you finished school early, so I guess maybe you didn't have to deal with that as much. But do you guys both gravitate towards gossip? Like when you hear gossip, you're like, I can't help but I need to listen to this, like.
I like to know what's going on, but on the other hand, like my mom will text me and tell me, so like she told me somebody gave me a specific name has COVID, and then I texted her back, why do I need to know this? Because I don't want people saying things. I don't know. I just think your business is your business. Like,
yeah, I guess it depends on what kind of gossip it is. There's different kinds, I guess, like what people are doing or what people said or things like that. I'm with you. I do kind of like to know what's going on, and from a play last perspective, it can be like who I need to stay away from,
Okay.
like who's chaotic, and I'll just look at them from a distance. So I may like listen. I don't know though. I don't think I like would bring that up. What's an example of gossip that you would think that an FE would be drawn to, Kendrick?
Probably gonna be like, dating or like anything relationship related, like.
Okay. Like, so who is with who? Yeah.
Like who's going with who? It's like, you're like, let's say, like this person's husband, I saw her talking to another woman, he seemed kind of awfully close, it's like that, it's like the or something like that. And Lynda's like,
that sounds very SFy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, I don't have a lot of SF in me. I mean, in the way that an ISFJ would.
But Claire is lead SF. So
yeah. I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm trying to like be open to the fact that maybe I do that, but I don't think so. I mean, kind of like with kids, like their life is their life. They can do whatever they want to do. I do like to know who is connected to who, like who is, because I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of like an encyclopedia of that. Like this person's friends with this person and this person. And so like, it's helpful for like party invites and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
I like to know what
details.
I like to know what people's values are. And I just learned that. Like, I guess maybe it's consumed whenever I'm saying it that way, but I kind of like to know like where people stand on stuff, where their values are. And sometimes I know somebody's mad at somebody, but they don't know about that they're mad at each other. Like the other person doesn't know, but I know. Like, how could everybody not know that? Pay attention. But so I guess that might be kind of gossipy in the fact that I tend to know information because I watch for it.
Do you do anything about it? Like if someone's mad at someone, but the other person doesn't know they're mad, or do you just like take it in, you're like, okay, that's okay. That's good to know, you know?
Well, when I was younger, I used to have more of a righteous stick or something, like trying to help people behave or get along, something like that. But now it's sort of like, that's, I guess it might depend on the situation, but for just generally answering the question, for the most part, it's not my story. That's not my story to tell. But at the same time, you know, I need to absorb that information. So and the bad thing for me, I don't know if Claire does this or I don't know, but if someone is upset with someone, then I start like, well, am I like that? Well, are they going to be upset with me next? And this is all internal, but, and I did ask somebody before, I was like, well, what happens if I do that? Am I like Brenda? And they're like, they just look at me like I've lost my mind. And they're like, no, you're not like that.
Maybe because you're DI, so you took the story, you made it you know.
Yeah, and you know how like they say play last, you don't really see that. I'm probably blinded by that a little, like what other people would think about me or feel towards me or something. I don't really even know. I'm not bothered by that too much.
I guess it's a blind spot, so you don't even know.
Yeah.
It's like ignorance is a bliss, kind of. You know?
It is actually there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I want to know, like I don't know, like you just have to watch and see what they're doing to see like what are the results. And I'm like, well, I don't know. And one girl thought she was my best friend and I didn't even know if she liked me. So that was kind of funny.
I've had that. Yeah.
Oh, right. Because you're playing last. You don't even know.
I didn't. Well, no, there was somebody that, yeah, I think this happened much, much younger, but it's a story I haven't forgotten where like, there was a girl who I hung out with a lot and I didn't know I hung out with other people too. Like this was probably 8th grade, you know, and then she started telling everybody we were best friends. And I was like, nah, I don't want, like, it felt
that's a big responsibility. I'm not sure that we're at that level. We should have checked with each other, huh? Maybe just check with me.
I don't know what that was. Like maybe that was her FI. You know, now wondering about that. And I probably seemed like such a snob, you know, being like, oh no, that's not what that, you know.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so mean too. It's like, no, we're not best friends. You know?
Well, I don't think I said that, but I think I just started like slowly backing away, you know, because it weirded me out. I didn't know why that was a thing.
So how do you know if someone's your best friend and if you're play last? Because like that's an interesting one. And then Lynda, you have played demon also. So
probably other people say it, you know.
Yeah.
Like in college I had a best friend, but she would say, this is my best friend, you know.
But then you were okay with it, so clearly you agreed. Like,
yeah. If I was okay with it, then I stuck around. And if I wasn't, I was gone.
Oh, I see. So you won't say they'll just disappear.
Sadly, yes.
I've done that with entire jobs before. I'm not going to say goodbye. We're not going to have a cake. We're not going to talk about where I'm going. I'm just working. And then if you're connected with me, we will connect when I'm not working here. But if you didn't connect with me, you can keep your gossip to yourself. None of your business where I'm going.
Oh, I love that masculine.
That's probably SI. Yeah, that's SITI. Like,
but yeah, and I don't say all that. None of that is said. That's just an understood thing. When they're like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, somewhere.
Yeah, that does feel I feel that SITI, like what I do is, and what I like, my work is my own thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's some of that gets all gossipy and people don't want to know because they care about you. They want to know because they're curious and they want to talk about it. And I'm not having any of that. You can talk about it and make up your own stories, what happened. Okay. Because I'm not in that.
Yeah.
If you're connected with me and you actually care about me, then we've already talked about that and you know what's going on.
So that's a difference, I think. Mine is more like, I don't want to be told what to do, you know, like Demon TI, you know, like I don't want anybody in my business and what I do because I don't want to be told, because they might then tell me what to do, you know?
Oh yeah, they can tell me if they would like. They can tell me all day long what to do. Yeah, that's fine.
Are you okay with that, Lynda? Because you're feminine TI.
Well, you can see how far that will get you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Honestly, you have your own opinions, and you can try to push them off on me and see how far that gets. It's about that far. Yeah.
It's like you're.
So I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to stop you from having your opinions. You're an individual. I can't. But if we're not sharing opinions reciprocally, then I think that happens a lot. And kind of what we were talking about, these people that don't understand how I feel or what I think because you didn't ask. And so you just assume that, you know, like the one girl that told me to go vote, and I was like, well, I can go talk to my senator, but maybe you should ask if I was against that or for that before I go talk to my senator. I don't think you're going to be happy with that result. Anyway.
I like the masculinity. It's so sassy. It's so good. I love
I need more of that.
Yeah, I wish I had that, like that masculinity. You know, for me it's like feminine. So I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Hey, do do whatever you want. I'm cool with it, you know? Yeah. So Claire, you work as a physical therapist, right? So doesn't your clients, like, because you know, when you work in the service industry, your clients kind of become like, you become like a therapist almost, you know? I don't know that.
Like, but you know, I work with kids.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's different then.
The parents though, like, you know, sometimes it can be that way.
Okay. And then so when a parent starts like emotionally vomiting to you, like really private stuff, like you shouldn't even know. Like what do you do? I like how you're like just like probably happens more than you'd like.
Yeah, it does. And that made me start thinking I didn't need to work with kids anymore, honestly, because the parents were hard for me, and they weren't doing anything wrong. You know, they just were being themselves and going through a hard time, and that's totally understandable. But it just was, it was kind of a drain. You know,
I
couldn't remove myself from it.
Sorry.
Yeah, we definitely remove ourselves from it.
Well, I couldn't, like, in the moment, you know, like I couldn't remove myself from what was going on when I saw them so often. So I feel like the only solution is to remove myself from what I'm doing, you know.
And is that mentally that you do that, right? I mean, not physically. Are you removing yourself mentally while you're working?
No, I'm not able to do that as much. That may be the difference too.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in the moment with them, I can't remove. Yes, that's got to be a TI thing. My husband has told me to do that. And I'm like,
some of it's a learned process and some of it's a natural thing. But from my perspective, I do heart, lung, airway. And usually by the time people are in the ER with an airway problem, that is not the best day of their life. And so you see people at their worst, for sure. And I mean, some of them get really, really angry and they start yelling at you, but it's because they don't have control of their environment. So again, you get them a little bit of control and like, oh, would you like some water? Which you can't have in the ER. That's separate because of the whole, anyway, that was a bad example, but they have to do the test before they can give you fluid because that might hurt you, but you get the idea. When you see people in the worst day of their lives, then you just need to fix it. I just do my job and then I feel it later. Like,
gosh, you're so good at that. Your type is so good at that.
Yeah, I told you I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice being the Si+Ti, I guess.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So based on what like you said, Claire, I was thinking about like I had a friend. He's like older. He's a lot older than me. He's a teacher. He's an ENTP jumper, and you know, kind of same animal stack as you. And I also asked him like the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, how is it like working with kids? Because he teaches grade 5, right? And then I'm like, yeah, how's it working with kids? And like when a kid is acting up, like what do you do and how do you solve the problem? And he looked at me and he said, when a kid's acting up, it's usually the parents' fault. Like he's like, there's something going on at home, and the kid is acting out here. And then usually when they have like the parent teacher conference, he's like, yep. And I meet the parent, I'm like, yep, I knew it. Like the parent, they're crazy, or just
this is one of the things that Dr. Laura says, and sorry if you don't like Dr. Laura Schlesinger, but she says, whenever she was in practice and she would see the kids, the parents would take him in and go, fix him, he's messed up. And then he's like, more than not, a lot of the time it was, well, he's in a messed up situation because his parents are not helping.
See, that kind of scares me when people say that, because I take it kind of personally as a parent, like, are people going to see my kids and think that about me, like come in with a supposed idea, that like, and then when you come in like that, you can't, like, I'll prove it, like if the idea is already there that the parent must be crazy, then it doesn't matter what you do when you come in, you're the crazy parent,
Right.
See, that's interesting, because to me, that idea can be there, but it's not really solidified until you see the evidence.
Okay. That's probably the S.
But recently, David Chan started talking about this. Oh, what is that echo? Do you guys hear that?
I do.
Is it Claire? Oh, Claire froze.
Oh.
Yeah, Claire froze. There we go. That's what happened. Let me go pause this real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We're back now. Yeah. No, and Lynda was just saying that. So your frame froze, and Lynda was just saying that. Luckily, you didn't have like a funny face when you froze.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like, why? Like Linda's like, why is her face not moving?
You guys froze here. That was so weird. But then I could still hear you talking.
So I heard like robotic noise in the background, but I didn't see anything moving, and I was like, oh, it's you. Because at first I thought you were just like sitting there, like not like you're just listening. But then because you're low play, right? So you don't really move a lot when you talk. So it's like you're like still, right? So I thought it was just you doing your thing, and then
myself.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I was just saying that like I think David Chan now realized that sometimes when you meet kids, it's not always the parents' fault. Like sometimes you meet the parents are great actually. The child is the crazy, and they said that the kid is usually a DI when they're crazy. So
okay, that gives me I don't think any of my kids are crazy, but I do wonder sometimes, like, can their behavior not always reflect on me? Because I have 4, and that's a lot of behavior to reflect on me.
I think maybe it depends if like you're dealing with like another parent that's like a double decider or like a double observer, or like like a decider or observer. Because if they're like an EJ and IP, they might think it's like, oh, kids acting up, parents probably no good, well, like like, but like if maybe the parents like a double decider, like I need to see both of them, I can't just make a quick judgment,
yeah, maybe so.
I do. I mean, I do look at some kids and wonder what their life is like, what their experience is like, because they are individuals. But
yeah, it's got to be both. And like your friend, the 5th grade teacher, probably does see that as a pattern. That's probably a very real pattern.
Well, and I mean, as a parent, I mean, if you're a parent at all, you know that you can do everything within your power, and people make their own choices. So
I think for me, what's crazier is when the parent doesn't know the kid is doing something really bad in the back end, because when the kid's in front of them, they act like an angel, because I have a cousin, and she's definitely an IJ, like 100% like an IJ. I don't know, play last or consume last, but like my cousin's son is like that. Like when the mom's there, he's so sweet. He's an angel. But the moment she's away, oh, he says like the most evil things. You know, he's like, when you're here, you do what I tell you. That's what he'll say to like people that are his uncles and aunts, essentially. You know, and then like when they had like nannies, he'll like threaten them with like a fork or a knife. You know, but then when the mom comes, he's like so sweet. He gives everyone hugs and he's like very obedient. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I don't think my cousin's aware of this. I don't think anyone ever told her his son is like this, you know? So I don't know if you guys ever worry about that. Obviously, Linda's kids are out of they're, you know, they're grown up.
Well, I will say even there are some people, well, we'll just name him. It's my son again, the oldest one that was hardest to raise. Sometimes I will just say, this is my son. We never know what he's going to say.
Okay.
And then I just leave it and let people figure out that he's just says things and people like him and I don't get it. That sounded terrible to say it that way. People like him because he says things, if someone else were to say, like he says things and he passes as an EP, he passes it off as like, somehow it's charismatic. But if I were to say the same thing, it would be pretty rude or something along those lines. But he's a very playful person.
I do agree with that. I as an EP, I get away with a lot of things. Like I do, because I think how it is like, as an EP, you're always pushing the boundaries, right? So when you first meet people, you're like, how much can I push this? You know, what can I get away with, right? So you'll push, and then like, you know, first impression is like super important, right? So if like people see you being like that on first impression, they kind of expect that to happen again. So if it happens again, they're not surprised, you know, and maybe they'll even look forward to it. It's kind of entertaining sometimes, you know. So maybe
that is true. It is definitely entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's like the difficulty of like being an IJ, because you know, maybe you're more on the careful side. Although Dave's not careful at all, so maybe that's not true, you know. I don't know. What do you guys?
Oh no, I was going to go back to the kid question.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking like, I'm not sure, Kendrick, that I would know if like they were having terrible behavior, but I tend to ask people, you know, how did my kid behave? So would everybody be lying to me? You know, like when I drop them at childcare, then when I come back, I'll say, were they kind to other kids?
Yeah.
Did they listen? You know, maybe they're all lying. Now you're giving me a demon any freak out.
Well,
oh no.
You know, me and my cousin are really close. I've never told her. And we're really close. We're really close. Yeah. She never asked, but I never told her. I don't have the heart to tell her, because I think she really works hard at raising him, and you know, I don't want her to think badly of herself that his son is psychopathic. Like,
did she watch your channel?
No.
Okay, good.
No, I can say it because my cousin doesn't consume anything.
Okay.
Like,
this is good.
I don't know if she's consumed last though. I think she's play last. She doesn't ping when you talk to her, you know, and she does listen to people. She just doesn't consume stuff. Like she won't read a book. Like she'll only read the Bible. She only consumes one thing, and it's like the Bible. Like she won't like consume anything else. Like she's definitely like super IJ, you know. Yeah. So I don't know. I think she's an INTJ jumper, if I had to guess.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like
that doesn't sound like any consume.
No, I think she's an INTJ jumper. Yeah, my dad's side of the family is all N dominant, and then my mom's side of the family is all sensory dominant. So it's kind of interesting to spend time with both families.
This is interesting, the way that you're attaching children to their parents. Like children have their own behaviors. Yes, some of it's what they learn from their parents, but and I guess the parents have the expectations that they set, but maybe he's just going through a phase. I feel like I need to take up for him.
I don't know.
I gotta double decide this.
I don't know. I have to see him again. I think the son is a T. I think he's lead TI. Yeah, I think he's lead TI. Or FI. I don't know, but he's definitely.
You might just be going through a phase to see, like, if he throws that out there, if it sticks, or what happens, or how do people react. But I do think by the time you're 3, that you should understand how to socialize with people, or you're probably going to end up in prison.
He seems to know what people want to hear, but then, like I said, when the mother figure goes away, then his demonic side comes out, and then I'm like, oh my god, what is this like person? It's like I said, I don't know. I'm next time I go back and visit, we'll see how he is. He's probably like 5 or 6 right now, so and he has a younger brother now too, so maybe things will change. I don't know. I mean, I had a cousin that when he was a kid, he was also demonic. Like, he used to stab other kids in school, and yeah, like he's literally like stabbed other kids, and like with like I don't know, like a fork and stuff, or like the scissors. And he'll cut other kids, like, this thing, like he'll cut the other kids like right here. Yeah. So he was like
it's interesting that you just share this information. This is so embarrassing.
It's okay. No one knows who they are. No one knows their names or anything. So it's okay. But oh my god, when he grew up, he was a completely different person. He became a teacher in school. He's great at public speaking. He's super nice. He's a gamer. He's like completely normal. It's as if he got all that demonic part of him out when he was like a kid and a teenager. The moment he became an adult, he was like totally normal, like as normal as can be, Well,
and it does take 26 years for the frontal lobe of your brain to
kick in,
get all formed up, they say.
Yeah, so it's possible, that,
And it's possible that, I mean, sometimes if your parents don't catch all of the things, all of the social norms that you're supposed to be doing, sometimes the tribe will set you straight.
Oh, so you think that's what happened to him? Like someone else? It's
possible.
Someone else set him straight? Yeah. I have, my mom's an IJ. I think my mom's an ISFJ. And, she's very controlling, but she did give us one good advice growing up.
What?
Yeah, one very good. Okay. Yeah, one very good advice. And that is, she said to us, when you're young, eat all the bad food that you want. Go nuts. Okay. She even gave us like, she got us to bring a Coca-Cola to work, to school at like when I was in elementary school. Like, eat the chocolates, candy, KFC, fried chicken, pizza, whatever you want that's bad. Go eat all of it. Just eat all of it. Because when you're old, you can't eat them anymore.
And that was the best advice that she had?
Because I got sick of it. Now I don't want to eat that stuff anymore.
Oh, wow.
Like, I like, I have like, I know people that are like, they're in their 30s and they're still drinking pop and like all that stuff, like all the time. And they have like health issues, they're like in their 30s and they're getting hospitalized, like weight issues and stuff. And I'm like, I don't have any of that problem. I got it out of my system when I was young. My mom told me to just go crazy with that stuff, and I did. I ate all the Kit Kat and like had a pop every day. I got it out of my system by the time I was 20. By the time I reached 26, I don't want to touch it anymore. Like, I have pop once a year. I just don't. I don't want to drink like soda, I guess, for the US. But like, I just don't want to touch it. Like, I actually want to eat vegetables. I crave vegetables. This
sounds very EP-ish to me. I'm gonna just have to interject there because you're like, I experienced that. Let's move on to the next thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I can eat vegetables. I prefer to eat the vegetables and stuff, and eat healthy. And I'm like, yeah, it's a very good. It was very good advice. So what can I say? So I'm like, one day when I have kids, I'm gonna tell them the same thing. Yeah.
Let's hope they're your type, Kendrick.
What's that?
You said, let's hope they're your type.
Oh, well, what do you mean? If there was another type?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if every type would do it that way. Like, my brother has been drinking that stuff since he was younger, and he still is.
Oh, okay. That's why you think it's a bad idea. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I could tell my kids that, because I'm more like, I have to not.
Linda's like, this is bad advice.
Well, and like, we're control. So I'm kind of like, let's eat healthy, okay?
Well, and then also they're going to hear part of what you said. Which part did they hear? The part that says eat what you want, just go for it.
Oh yeah.
What if
they didn't hear the other part?
What if you're info-dominant? Like, go crazy until you're 30 or something, like,
Give on info.
Yeah, that's a deadline, Yeah. Linda's like, oh my God.
Your kids will have so much fun, Kendrick. They'll have fun all the time.
They're like, please don't say it to your kids.
What? No, we need more play in our house.
Oh, okay.
We do not.
This is conflicting advice from two ISFJs.
There is a lot of play. I actually recently got in trouble for not laughing enough at people's jokes in the house.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, you have to give me time to absorb what you're saying. And it's not always funny. Sometimes it's just cute. And I'm not gonna just laugh every time. That's not how I am. Like, maybe I'm laughing internally and smiling, and there you go, you got it. And so now there's an agreement that if I am acknowledging the joke rather than smile at them, I'm supposed to fist bump if I don't laugh. So there you go. More play.
I think the funny thing about like lead sleeps is like there's like a delay in reaction, which is like weird and kind of like, like someone told a joke and it's like a minute or two later, that's when you start laughing. And I'm like,
Yeah, because you need time to consume it and process it and think about the possibilities of how the joke could be different. And then
you can laugh after.
Yeah, then you laugh at the best option that you've done in your head. I like my story better.
Yeah.
That.
Okay. Last question for you guys, and we'll wrap up the interview. Okay. So you're both IJs and you're both parents. They say like in a household, one parent is the good cop and the other one's the bad cop. Would you say as an IJ you're the bad cop automatically, or is that not true?
Here, yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that philosophy at all.
Okay.
I don't do that. No, we're a united front, or we're going to be a united front. We're going to agree, or it's not. No.
But
no playing, no disagreeing in front of people. No.
Do your kids agree with that though, or do they still see one person as the good cop or bad cop?
It's really kind of weird. There's almost a handoff, and you don't know. One of the things that like his sister said one time was, you have a very different dynamic. You go into a conversation disagreeing about something, and you never know who's going to come out, like who's going to win that conversation, or that's a bad way to phrase it, but like, you never know what the outcome's going to be, like who's going to convince who, or that kind of thing. So that's interesting. Like, I don't know that I'm just the disciplinarian, but there has to be a united front. I'm probably protective, like an ISFJ would be. I would say that. Definitely protective.
Yeah, it's probably the blast in me that makes me say that. Like, I play the OI role and he plays the OE role. That's
isn't your husband, sorry to cut you off. Just before you finish, I just want to add a little bit of something.
Yeah.
Your husband is Si+Ti, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't Si+Ti get more tribe hate than a double-sider, or is that a different case in your?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on the kid,
Right.
There are some kids that, yeah, I mean, he can really like upset them, I guess.
Yeah.
But overall, he's kind of more fun.
I see.
Yes. Now there is fun cop, and that's not me.
Okay, yeah. So who's the fun cop then?
I'm the fun sponge and he's the fun, the fun, you know?
Yeah. I see.
No, I don't want to be that way, but I think I probably am.
Okay. I guess someone has to, otherwise the kids will go crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that things will change if your kids go to adulthood? Because I've actually seen that with like some friends and family where the roles change the moment like they became an adult, where the bad cop became the good cop and the good cop became the bad cop. And it was interesting how that switch happened,
Yeah.
Like, do you guys see that happening in your household, like one day, like as your kids become like, they're go off to college or like going to work and stuff? And
for us, I can, because neither one of us are like so extremely that way.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess I'm supposedly double activated OI, so maybe I am, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can see us both growing towards, me growing towards OE and him growing towards OI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
sorry, I didn't mean that OI is the bad guy, by the way.
I feel like it is.
No, it's not. I didn't mean that the OI is
not,
bad.
It just keeps everything more organized so that people can get things done.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the bad guy when I'm like, don't touch the watermelon. Right? Is that fun or no?
No, it's not fun, but
so it's like not fun to maintain order,
Yeah. But don't touch the watermelon. That's gonna be your running gag now. Claire, don't touch the watermelon.
There was one night whenever they were a little bit younger and I was trying to learn to live with little people. And so I was like, okay, we're just going to have a Jello night. We're going to put our hands in this Jello and just like, we had like this Jello thing. And I was like, trust me, this is for me, not you, but we're going to have like, just get, throw Jello, whatever. It was crazy. I forced myself into it so that I could live with it and realize it really is not as bad as it seemed in my mind.
Oh, you did exposure therapy on yourself.
Yes. I did a whole lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe Claire, you would freak out if that happened.
Well, it would be fun when we were doing it, but then when I was cleaning it up, I'd be like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah. Or maybe Claire's like, Linda's not coming to my house. Like don't bring your Jello.
Where I'm sitting there like trying to give myself a pep talk, like, see, that was okay. See, it wasn't as bad as you still thought it was. Yes, you're going to be cleaning for a couple of days, but you know what? Yeah. Your kids think you're cool. You did okay.
Right.
That's so funny. You think your kids think you're cool.
Cool is the goal, right?
Yeah. I can see, I guess if you guys were to hang out, Lynda would definitely be the EP. Like she would take the EP role. Lynda was like, sweet.
I would just say, that whole ocean thing, like openness, conscientiousness, extrovertedness, agreeableness, and neuroticism.
Yeah.
I would say that I have learned to be more open than a typical stereotypical IJ, where I'm not as close to things as I used to be. Yeah, that's where I'd go with that. Yeah, I know. Somebody rubbed off on me. It's inevitable. Some other open person.
All right, guys. We'll wrap up the interview from here. And it was good chatting with you guys again. And I like talking to ISFJs because you guys have like a very unique perspective that is oftentimes not heard, especially in the personality community. Because there's so little ISFJs. Like you guys are definitely like, there's a lot in obviously in the outside world, but in the community, there's not many. So it's good to hear your perspective. And I think like listening to you guys talk, I'm like, oh, I feel like sometimes ISFJs get painted as like, maybe naggy, but I don't know. Maybe that's not true. Maybe it is. But
I have a whole list of paintings if you would like. Stick in the mud, control freak.
Yeah.
No fun. Like, okay. You got it covered though. We're good.
Yeah. You have all the stickers or something in like your like a fridge magnet. Just kidding. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, I appreciate you guys coming out. So enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you around the groups, okay?
Thanks.
Thank you.